GT World Challenge Australia this weekend returns to Queensland Raceway. Boy, oh boy, do we have a race set up for you this afternoon. After yesterday's almost dominant win from the Ferrari crew, they're looking to go back-to-back coming into race number 2. Can they do it though? That will be the big question. Well, we wrap up what has been a super weekend of action. We've had F1, Porsche Sprint Challenge, and loads more. But coming into this weekend, Mercedes look to be the team to beat. Are they the team to beat, though? That is the big question. To be honest, probably the team to beat will be the Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher crew there of the Audi. We'll see what they can do, though, from where they are on the grid, a bit further back down on the grid than what they probably would have preferred. But, of course, we will see how that all rolls out for the drivers. Now, they set off on their formation lap and GT World Challenge Australia powered by AWS. It's a Mercedes front row lockout, just like it was in race number 1. But look there in the background, that Ferrari, again, looking very ominous there in the background. Also alongside there, the Audi just in behind. The Ferrari, though, looks to be the car to beat at the moment. 66, Smooth My Wheels, Mercedes-AMG by Tagani Motorsport car there as well. As we run through the cars, the back of the grid, that Aston Martin that just seemed to drop off again with that BOP. Let's take a look at the starting grid. It's Oscar Target and Brendan Leach on the front row of the grid. And it's Brock Feeney and Will Davidson. Ryan Wood and Jackson Evans on the third row of the grid. Jaden Ojeda and Luke Hilden, who starts first in the bronze class. Alongside him is Paul Stokel. So the bronze class has a battle. Josh Buchan and Valentino Astuti, followed by Tony D'Alberto and Alex Peroni. And then it's Cameron Rees, third in the bronze class and last overall. But watch out for that bronze class. The 71 and the 24 Porsche and Audi going side by side up through towards turn number 1. That will be an enthralling battle as they hit turn number 1 for the first time. GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. About to hit the history books here at Queensland Raceway. 1 hour racing. This is going to be good, as now the safety car leads us around the final corner. Sunshine. What else could we possibly want? Sunshine, black tarmac, tyres, and GT3 cars to hit the circuit. GT World Challenge Australia, race number 2. Queensland is go, and it's pedal to the metal, and it's go as they make the line up through towards turn number 1. Brendan Leach and Oscar Target. Oscar Target on the outside. Can he get the move done? Yes, he can. The guy Velma Mercedes goes swooping around the outside and will get the move done. There, look off in the background is the Audi as it tries to make its move done. Brendan Leach, though, takes the lead. Oscar Target swooped around the outside, but Brendan Leach held the lead as now they make the run up through towards turn number 4. Turn number 3 on the circuit. On the exit of turn 2, very nice start there, though, from Brendan Leach. Oscar Target looked around the outside. Wasn't going to happen. As now drivers pound the curb on the exit of turn 3 and now make the run up through towards turn number 4. Yeah, very important start there from both Mercedes. It was very important that they got that start, and they did so very nicely. There in the background is Brock Feeney and Ryan Wood. Watch out for the Ferrari in behind. Will Davidson's dropped back to P7. The race-winning car of Will Davison has dropped back to P7. There to the outside is Josh Buchan as he goes to the outside of the road. Can he get the move done? As they make the run up through towards turn number 6. It's going to be questionable as now they're going to be side by side on the exit of the road. Will Davidson with a bit of a squeeze off the road there, and Josh Buchan has been left no room on the exit. But it's given Will Davidson a chance to really think about that start there. P9, P10 contact there with one of the Ferraris and the Audi. That is Josh Buchan and Valentino Astuti as they look up the inside. Tony D'Alberto looking for a move, not going to happen. As Paul Stokel and Rees has dropped all the way back to the back of the pack. Yeah, a bit of contact as they made the run in through towards turn number 1. And it was about to be what we saw in the Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge race. That almost an accident like what happened there in race 2. Very ominous there as they made the run up through towards turn number 1. And now, once more, they hit the brakes for turn number 5. Sorry, turn 4 up through turn number 5. And once more, applying the power. So, good start from Brendan Leach, and it's Oscar Target just in behind as we take a look at the Wade Motorsport replay. They're just being squeezed way up the curb and just had nowhere to go. That pink Ferrari and a big old squeeze. It was almost like the 23 Ferrari left him no room, him of which being Valentino Astuti. So he had no choice but to give him a bit of a nudge to let him know that, well, I'm here and I deserve a little bit of racing room at least. As now the drivers make their run through towards turn number 3, and maybe that contact has definitely hurt Josh Pecan, because look there, that left rear tyre is flailing, and we'll definitely have to come back towards pit lane. But the thing is, can that car get back to pit lane before, of course, it stops? And if it stops, then we'll see the intervention of the safety car in this one. The BP Ultimate safety car will be out on circuit if, of course, that car cannot get moving, as Oscar Target being a bit pressured here. And again, we saw the lack of pace from this Mercedes yesterday, and it just sort of gave the chance of a Ferrari to let by. But now it's opposite. There's a Mercedes leading this race that already has a BOP on it there. Look in the background, Josh Pecan moving right out of the way of everyone, getting right off the racing line as it pulls into pit lane. But once more being pressurized by Brock Feeney. Only has one BOP on it. Does that Ferrari? It's only, sorry, not that Ferrari. It is an Audi. So Brock Feeney, of course, that car only has one balance of performance effect on it. Compared to this Mercedes, it has one as well. The one up in front, though, it's got two. So a lot more weight put on that Mercedes in the lead at the moment, is now filing down in through towards turn number 3, late under brake. So we've seen that from the Audi. We saw it with Brad Schumacher yesterday in his first stint. That Audi is very good on the brakes. And it's closed up now onto the back of Oscar Target. Can he look for the move as he makes his run up through towards turn number 4? Not going to happen this time around. He sticks back in, hitting the apex very nicely. Once more applying the power on the exit of the corner. 23 Ferrari. Yeah, getting that right rear tyre changed. Actually deciding to do all 4 tyres here is the Ferrari crew. So maybe looking for a bit of a pace advantage. Of course, you can box after lap 1. It is way after lap 1. So that Ferrari in, deciding to change all 4 Pirelli tyres. And maybe is this car looking to retire here, as now they changed the left front tyre off that car and put on a new tyre. That car now gets going once more. It's 2 laps down though, so that will be the only problem that car has. 4 brand new Pirelli rubber, 4 new Pirelli tyres on that car. As there to the inside of the road goes Ryan Wood as he tries to cover off the ever so threatening Jackson Evans. And behind is the 66 Move by Wheels Mercedes of Jaden Ojeda. Will Davidson 1.3 seconds back. And immediately we're starting to see the effect of the balance of performance in the 181 Ferrari. It's dropped back to 70s, 1.4 seconds off the 66 Mercedes. And of course, we'll have to serve more time in the pit lane as well. So not only do you have to serve the time in the pit lane, you also get extra weight added to your car. As there, late under brakes goes the Audi of Brock Feeney, and once more continuously applying the pressure onto the back of the Mercedes. Yeah, this Mercedes is being put under loads of pressure by Brock Feeney there. That time nearly went for a move, did Brock, and I reckon as they hit the braking zone of turn number 3, you'll see possibly a move from Brock, so keep an eye out there. Brendan Leach, though, pulling away 2.6 seconds up in front. And then it's Oscar Target, Brock Feeney, Ryan Wood, as we take a look at the KFC Audi, making its run through towards turn number 1. And, of course, that being Paul Stokel, sitting second in the bronze class at the moment. Luke Huel then is up the inside there. Look, Ryan Woods, bit up the curb as it tried to look for the move, but unsuccessful in the processes. Now, as they hit the braking zone at turn number 5, Ryan Wood edging closer. Once more on the brakes as they hit the corner. Turn 4 up through turn 5. No move possible through there. And now once more getting back into a rhythm. So this little battle pack, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th of Jaden Ojeda at the back of this pack is just starting to brew a little bit. and all sitting in the toe. And once more this weekend, the Ferrari just looks quick. It just looks like it has the pace, because the one car without the balance of performance here, and Ryan Wood's in a good position here. Let's be honest, Ryan Wood is very much in a good position. We've got Brock Feeney that, of course, has to serve the BOP effect. It's pit stop. Sorry, not there. Yeah, no, it's only Will Davison has to score the BOP effect coming into this race, as they look a little bit up the curb goes the 88 as it looks for the move. That's Ryan Wood. Can he get the move done? He's going to sneak to the inside. Brock Feeney will cover. Up the inside, then Ryan Wood, contact! And Brock Feeney off the road. Well, a bit off the road, and Ryan Wood had the opportunity. He snuck it up the inside, clipped the rear end of Brock Feeney, and nearly went off the road. There to the inside, outside of the road, up now. The inside, Jano Jada. A bit up the curb as he tries to look for the move. Not going to happen this time around. But the two supercars rivals nearly made into contact once more. Yeah, Brock Feeney, Ryan Wood. Of course, Ryan Wood was the guy that took Brock Feeney out of the Repco Supercars Championship fight that he was in. Gave Chaz Mostert the championship. And unfortunately, Brock Feeney was not very happy about that one. So, let's take a look at the replay, though. The two rivals from the Repco Supercars Championship up the inside there. Look, Ryan Wood went for the move, and Brock Feeney, I reckon, will have a bit of a frown on his face after that. Race control might have caught the eye of race control, actually. There, moving someone out of the way. There. So, we'll see what happens with that incident, as once more Ryan Wood applying the pressure onto the back of Brock Feeney. So, this is sort of turned into the opposite sort of game here. In the first half of this race, we saw, or the first quarter of this race, actually, we saw Brock Feeney applying the pressure to Oscar Target, and now it's the opposite. Brock Feeney being applied with pressure from Ryan Wood. If I can get the words out of my mouth, that'd be helpful. As now they make the exit out of turn 6 and up through towards turn number 1. Again, 3.7 seconds. Brendan Leach absolutely flying is that 44 Mercedes. You definitely tell as the stint goes on the tyres start to wear a little bit in this race that Audi starts to fall off a little bit. And it's starting to show now. We're about 15 minutes into this race and it's starting to show. And the Ferrari of Jackson Evans is starting, to pull on a bit of pace in the middle phase of this stint. Here there is Jaden Ojeda now making his run through. Making his run through towards turn number 4. Sorry, turn number 3. Up through turn 4 now. This is Will Davison being pressured, by Alex Peroni in that Audi. The ACMF Audi there once more applying the pressure onto Will Davison. Can he get the move done? He left the door open slightly. Peroni did not go for the move then. Up through towards turn number 6. Decide to go for it that time around. Brendan Leach, though, trailing out in front. The guy Valmont Mercedes, very, very quick again. It's now making their run up through towards turn number 3. Hitting the braking zone once more. Making sure you hit the braking marker. That is a very important point of this race that you have to hit as Brendan Leach. Very controlled first stint this has been so far. Just has to keep it under control. Has to keep the lead here. We've gone 16 minutes through this race, 4.2 seconds, and he's pulling probably a second a lap out of Oscar Target. Is that Mercedes. Now, and as I was saying a few moments ago, the Audi definitely falling off here of Brock Feeney. He's being pressured by Ryan Wood. And the balance of performance from Phillip Island has really affected that Audi. But it's helped it under braking. Brock Feeney has got a lot of power under braking to really go late into the corners and not lock up. Of course, GT3 cars do have that ABS system that will help you under braking as once more Brock Feeney hits turn number 1. Be very interesting to see what happens come pit stops as well. You do have that option to change tyres. We did see yesterday one of the bronze class cars actually deciding to make a tyre change in that up and coming pit stop. as Oscar Target now under brakes in through towards turn number 3. And now approaching turn 4. One of 3 heavy braking zones. Turn 1 sort of lift coast and then apply the power on the exit of turn 2. Up through 3. This is 4. The double right hand up. And once more applying the power up through towards turn number 6 here. So this race now just starting to unfold a little bit as now everybody starts to settle down into a bit of a rhythm in this one here at Queensland Raceway. Of course, a lot of action still to come. Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge will be happening a bit later on. That will be happening, I'm going to guess, from about 5:30. I'm going to move forward a little bit here just so that I can get that done. Of course, Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge will be very, very interesting indeed to see what happens there. It's now once more under braking. Goes the drivers up through towards turn number 3. Another one of these super weekends that we've had in terms of action. Formula 1, we saw George Russell grab a pole position for the first time in a while, actually, as we look at Luke Hülkenberg in the trophy class, leading in the trophy class by 6 seconds. And I've said it in the past, and I'll say it again, that this car just doesn't look like it's had the pace in overall race trim, nor in qualifying trim. But luck turns his way, and he's, at the moment, doing a pretty good job at it, as off the road there. Reese, a bit off the road, and has unfortunately now lost time to Paul Stokel. Unfortunately there. But of course, this car does have to serve a balance of performance penalty for winning yesterday's race. Of course, has got extra weight on it compared to yesterday. So we'll see what happens there. But can Luke Hülkenberg, after that pit stop, keep the lead? I can only imagine it won't. Of course, you have to be held for 2 minutes in the pit lane when it comes to that compulsory pit stop. So that one compulsory pit stop, you have to be held for more than 2 minutes. 2 minutes or over. If you go under that 2 minute mark, you will be penalised for pit stop infringement. But this is our leader, 5.1 seconds. This guy, Valmont Mercedes, is flying as it's under brakes now up through towards turn number 6. Once more, applying the power. 20 minutes gone in this race. 1 quarter complete. We've now got another about 40 minutes remaining in this race. It's now up through towards the first corner. Go the cars. Amazing action so far in GT World Challenge Australia. So far this season. It's been amazing. Of course, next weekend the action continues with another super weekend of action. 2 days and 2 matches of the FIFA World Cup. Be streaming there. Unfortunately, I couldn't stream the game between Australia and Turkey. But continuous action here as we take a look at the replay of the start. Very good start from everyone as they made their run up through towards turn number 1. You can see there the guy, Valmont Mercedes, sweeping right around the outside. So we get the move done up through towards turn number 1. One of the Audis there being squeezed off the road, bumping all over the grass. A few cars trying to find track position. As now they made their run up through towards turn number 2. And then up through towards turn number 3 on the circuit, the heavy braking zone. This was, and boy, oh boy, did it bring a bit of action there. Look, an Audi looking around the outside of a Ferrari. That was Will Davidson. They looked around the outside of. Meanwhile, Brock Feeney now. He's closed back into Oscar Target here, look. So maybe Brock Feeney just backed off a little bit, tried to hold up Ryan Wood, save the Pirelli rubber a little bit. Now he's caught back up. Here I was thinking that the Audi at some point just sort of drops off a little bit. And Ryan Wood will be wanting to try and get by here. Up through towards turn number 3. Is he late enough on the brakes? Brock was a little bit deep into the corner. It gave Ryan Wood the opportunity. And now he's going to be able to thread up through towards turn number 4. Very much under threat now to the inside. Ryan Wood. Not going to happen. He backs out. Again, a lot of second thought moves there from Ryan Wood. But as I was saying a few moments ago, a lot of action still to come next weekend. 2 matches in 2 days of the FIFA World Cup. We'll be streaming, and of course, we'll be live for our normals, of which is Formula Regional European Championship at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and of course the Italian F4 Championship as well. So it should be fun to see what happens there. Freck bringing back in there 2-race format. And of course, back in for the close to 3 or 4, maybe even 5-race format for the Italian F4 Championship, that knockout phase format we're so used to in the Italian F4 Championship nowadays due to the bigger grids. So some amazing action still to come. And I wouldn't count next weekend as one of our super weekends, but then of course the weekend after, we once more go racing for the Formula 1 Grand Prix. Head off to the Red Bull Ring in 2 weeks' time, and it's the Silverstone Grand Prix a week after. So big few weekends still to come. A big month, really, of sport. Plus, of course, the FIFA World Cup as once more on the brakes goes Brock Feeney up through towards turn number 6. And 23 minutes of this race gone. We've gone green for most of this one. Stay green flag, which is good to see. There's once more up through towards turn number 1. Doesn't look as if, though, Ryan Wood can find a way through. He's been stuck. Let's be honest, he's been stuck for most of this race. He just hasn't been able to get by. And you really have to set it up. You really have to have the toe. And there to the inside of the road goes Ryan Wood. But again, Brock Feeney not falling for it. That time around up through towards turn 3. He hit the apex, didn't go deep towards the corner. Just let the car do its thing. And with this slight bit of pressure, he's starting to lose Oscar Target again. 0.6 the margin. And then Brock Feeney closes up into the braking zones. So Mercedes has the grunt on the straights. The Audi has the power under braking. The Ferrari just genuinely good through the corners. Able to pull itself out of situations. Lamborghini, they're average. And of course, the Porsche, just genuinely good everywhere. Is that Porsche. Only one Porsche in the field is Dick Johnson as well. Looking out for his driver, of which is Will Davison here this weekend. One of the Pirelli owners as well. Down there with Dick Johnson. 25 minutes gone in here in race number 2 of the GT World Challenge Australia. Brendan Lynch starting to pull away. Look at this little battle packers again now. Ryan Woods, he's actually got a good exit on the exit of turn 4 there. So now could be under threat. Is he close enough? Will he pull a move? Got a good exit off turn 3. Will he pull a move into turn 4? No, he will not. They're one of the Ferraris, that of which Jackson Evans a bit up the curb. So he tries to pull away from the 66 Mercedes. 26 minutes gone. About to pass the halfway mark in this race, and we'll start to see some of the bronze drivers, of which it being Luke Hilden, who's just passed Tony D'Alberto. That's Renee Gracie getting ready. She's suited and booted, possibly looking to box early here with that BOP that they have to serve. Try and almost negate the BOP by boxing early, get that undercut. Of course, you can box past lap 2, but a lot of the teams decide to box a bit later into the race. Normally halfway mark, you see that happen. There is the OnlyFans Ferrari, the 181 Ferrari, currently being pressured by Alex Peroni and trying to almost negate the BOP effect that you get from winning the race without penalty. As up the curb a little bit goes Alex Peroni, and this is a bit of a battle for me, actually. So the last few laps, just Peroni been crawling up at the back and of the Ferrari. And the Audi again, closing in on the brakes. The Ferrari, good straight line speed, actually. Let's be honest. That car has got some pretty good straight line speed. Is moving to the inside slightly. Goes to Alex Peroni. He looked to remove, not going to happen. But we did see Renee Gracie ready for her pit stop. Also did see some tyres there in the background being set up. So possibly that Ferrari ready to go on a charge in the late part of this race. But look at the gap that Will Davison has lost to Jayden Ojeda. 5 seconds. And that's the gap. Jayden Ojeda, Will Davison. 5 seconds. Absolutely astonishing. Especially in the late to mid part of this race. Soon to pass the halfway mark. As on the exit, once more applying the power, is the 181 Ferrari. Will the Ferrari box this lap? It doesn't seem like it will. It stays out. We continue to keep an eye on the battle for second place. Oscar Target, Brock Feeney, Ryan Wood. Steve Brooks getting himself ready to jump into, of course, Ryan Wood's position in this race. Of course, the only BOP effect that has to be served in this race will be, of course, Will Davison. And I'm only imagining he'll drop probably back to 10th or 11th. Or maybe even further in this race. And it will bump everyone up a position here. So probably not a bad idea to box early. Try and get rid of that balance of performance effect that you get from winning a race. Try and get rid of it. Try and almost use it like an undercut. Throw new tyres, throw new rubber at it. Get a new driver in the car and go again. Brock Feeney a bit sideways on the exit of turn 6. Won't affect his run down the back front straight, or will it? Right up in the toe of Brock. So big chance here as they make the run through towards turn number 1. You'd think now, at this point in the race, that front end of that Audi would be very, very hot. Of Ryan Wood, very hot indeed. Especially at this phase in the race. He's been sitting up behind Brock Feeney for quite a while. A good 15, 20 minutes. And just hasn't been able to get by. As the first of the bronze class make their way into the pit lane. That being Reese. Into the pit lane now this time around. Getting the pit stop out of the way. Ryan Wood again, right on the rear bumper of Brock Feeney. Under brakes. And now once more up through towards turn number 6. A bit deep into the corner there goes Brock Feeney. No issue really needed there for Brock. Still able to get the run down the front straight that he needs. As everybody now files in through towards turn number 1. "30 minutes gone in this race. As there, look, Brendan Leach in the background. That is Will Davison, still being pressured by Alex Peroni. Still somehow being pressured. Just under 30 minutes to go. Just past the halfway mark here in GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. And the next few weeks of streaming is absolutely huge. And of course, it's not done yet. Tomorrow, we've got Formula 1. 66 laps of the Barcelona-Catalunya circuit. Of course, Tuesday, Formula 2 feature race. Of course, next weekend, we're live for the FIFA World Cup. A few matches going on there. And then, of course, the Formula Regional European Championship and the Italian F4 Championship. Then the weekend after, another big weekend, F2 F1. One of our quieter weekends, as far as I understand, at the moment. But still more FIFA World Cup on that weekend as well. So a lot happening as our class leader in bronze class into pit road comes Luke Hilden. So class leader in the bronze class. Of course, does have to serve that balance of performance after winning in the bronze class. So you'd expect as Paul Stokel as well in to pit lane. So bronze class drivers have now completed their mandatory pit stop. There's Paul Stokel into the pit lane as well. Getting his pit stop finished. So Paul Stokel, of course, be heading off to Matthew Stupas. Of course, Luke Hilden will be handing that car off to, as far as I'm aware, Nathan Holstead. Of course, my math is correct as they're moving in a straight line. Actually goes the Audi and he's up the insides. And he's finally looking for a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. Brock Feeney off the road. Brock Feeney way off the road. And he will not be happy with that. And that will catch the eye race control. There was not much room given. Brock Feeney off the road. And he had to do that aggressively as well. He had to make the move. He had to. Ryan Wood got the move done though. And that Audi is being shoved around in this race. Wow. Finally got the move done up through towards turn number 3. Sorry, let's make that turn 4. So in the exit of turn 3, got the move set up. Done it at turn 4. A bit up the curb. Made wheel-to-wheel contact. Brock Feeney slightly off the road. Very nicely done there. Very, very nicely done indeed. 26 minutes to go as the 181 Ferrari now in the pit lane. They'll have to get rid of that balance of performance effect that, of course, that car will have on it. And it will go a lap down here during this pit stop. But that is an absolutely huge move there up the inside. He saw the gap. He went for it. Squeeze up the curb a little bit there from Ryan Wood. And, well, actually, it wasn't even the fact that he squeezed him off the road. He just ran out of road. And the ripple strip ended a bit too early for Brock Feeney. Up the curb a little bit goes Ryan Wood. I mean, it has to be tough there. He sort of almost ran out of road, did Brock Feeney. The ripple strip ended a bit too early. And unfortunately, just sort of had nowhere to go except grass and dirt and gravel. And so, not ideal. Certainly not ideal. Nathan Holstead keeps the lead, though, after his bronze class stop. Keeps that lead there. Of course, the balance of performance effects now starting to kick in for Will Davison. This the replay. Once more. So did Brock Feeney go deep? Yes, he did. So that would explain that. He went deep into the corner, bit of contact. Wheel to wheel, up a curb a little bit, and run out of road, did Brock Feeney. So the ripple strip ended a bit too early. Unfortunately there. As into pit lane. Second, third, Oscar Target, Ryan Woods into pit lane. And more drivers deciding to stay out a bit later in this race. So does the Lamborghini. Lamborghini in of Tony D'Alberto. So Oscar Target, Ryan Wood into pit lane. The guy Valmont Mercedes continues to lead over Brock Feeney and Jackson Evans. The margin 9 seconds. Leach to Feeney. More, actually. It's more like 10, 12, 13 seconds, actually. Is there into pit road. It goes to Hock My Car, 56 Mercedes. It has no BOP to serve, as far as I know, so it should come out still in second place overall here. Technically, as far as I know. It should. Of course, once more files out. And there comes the race leaders. The 44, Brendan Leach. Brock Feeney in as well. Jackson Evans, Jaden Ojeda. In pools, Peroni as well. In comes Peroni. And this is huge. Oh, that was close. Brock Feeney there. Parked on an angle. I was close to a bit of contact as out comes Brock Feeney. In goes Brad Schumacher. Having to apply the seat insert. Parked sideways. Wow. How'd that car get parked sideways? Very strange indeed, and it was actually way off its marks. Apologies there. So it wasn't parked sideways, way off its marks, and that's what made it look weird. Guy Valmont Mercedes, of course, into pit lane as well. 44, Brendan Leach, Sergio Perez now into that car. Very quick stop from the 44. Of course, has to serve its compulsory time. The door isn't closing. The door isn't closing there, look. The Audi has a problem. The number 1 Audi are reigning champions. The door has some sort of a problem. It's not closing. The door of Brock Feeney is not closing. And you are kidding me. This is burning time. It's not closing. Yeah, no matter what they're doing here, it just is not closing. Look. This is painful. And it might be a bit of dirt that might be stopping it from closing. It's still not closing. Oh, this is shocking. Oh my god, has it closed? This is gut-wrenching. This is absolutely gut-wrenching. Wow. The number 1 Audi, yep, they've had to put tape on it. Bit of 100-mile-an-hour tape. But that is gut-wrenching for the number 1 crew. The Audi crew. Looked so good in this one. And now they've dropped 2. Oh, make that a lap down. And that's their race over, unfortunately. And Brad Schumacher saw during the pit stop there that door was not happy that the fact that the door wasn't closing as Sergio Perez as well. But that is absolutely scrutinizing for that crew down there. Sergio Perez has lost a bit of time in the pit stop here, and I'd only imagine that it was the sideways moment that he got. No, it was Paul Lucchini that was sideways in the pit lane. Or actually went deep. Apologies. So they went deep, and that's what caused that problem. It was actually open before. Okay, so it was open. Oh, has it come open? That door, I think, has come open. So the 100-mile-an-hour tape, there wasn't enough of it, apparently. Was that before the pit stop, or was that after the pit stop? Very strange. Has it come off again? I don't imagine it has. Because I don't think we saw anything from... Yeah, he's back in. Absolutely shocking for the number 1 crew. And they're gonna try their best to try and just put about 30 rows of 100-mile-an-hour tape to get that car back out onto circuit. They need to put more than 2 layers of... Yeah, they've got a whole heap of it, actually. Or they're going to replace the door, it looks like. I think... Oh, no, they're not. Brock Feeney moved. Sorry, Brad Schumacher moved. Going to replace the door? I don't think they will. No, but they just put a whole bunch of tape on it. And back out goes Brad Schumacher. And now they're officially a lap down. So they weren't before. They were 51 seconds off the lead of the race. Now they are officially a lap down. And probably close to going 2 laps down, actually. So it's unfortunate there for that crew. And they were in such a good position as well. Yes, the course of the race didn't probably play the way they wanted it to. but just sort of it didn't turn out for them. This one, it genuinely didn't, and it's upsetting for the Audi crew, the reigning champions as well. It will lose them many a positions in the championship. 18.5 minutes to go left in this one. 18 minutes, 26 seconds. There's Elliott Shute. Now into the 26 Ferrari. Oh, big slides! Big slide off the road goes the Ferrari. And now Locke will be under pressure by Tim Brooks in behind. Now, once more, the guy Valmont Mercedes will pull away. Bit up the curb and sideways. Oh, has that car got a problem? I think it does. See, it was, again, squirming on the exit. It's give Brooks second place, giving almost another win to the 44 Mercedes crew with just 44 minutes, sorry, not 44 minutes, 17 minutes to go. Here, so it's been a drama-packed second stint of this race. Number one Audi out of contention, not out of the race, but it's out of contention. And Elliott Shute with a characteristic mistake again, bronze driver. There, but very uncharacteristic, and this going to be the replay on the Wade Motorsport replay. This is it. So coming out of turn one, big snap, a bit of a probably a headwind actually coming out of turn one. Bit off the road, kicks up a whole lot of junk and dirt and whatever's on the outside of the road down there, and has unfortunately had to cede position to the Elliott Shute car. Sorry, Tim Brooks. Staying corrected. Not Elliott Shute. Tim Brooks. Second place car there. But there, that's very unfortunate. And Ryan Wood looking very static about this one. Very good drive in his first stint. And now, of course, hands it over to his illustrious teammate to bring it home, try and chase down the 44 Mercedes. Of course, unfortunately, the Brad Schumacher car back into pit lane. Yep, Brad Schumacher back into pit lane here. That's unfortunate as well. So I think they're going to try their best to once more apply more tape to the Brad Schumacher car. But you can only put so much tape on it before the door is almost unopenable. So you don't want to put too much tape on it to the point where the door isn't openable. You need to put enough that it's just going to last you 15 minutes or so. And apparently it's not enough. So Brad Schumacher back into pit lane and again applying more tape. Unless, is it a bonnet or something? I think they've replaced the door actually. Could be the door. Yeah, they have. I think they've replaced the door down there. So, not sure about a play. Replaced the door. I think it might have been the hinges actually on the door. It might have come loose or something. Many reasons actually. Many reasons. I couldn't tell what they were trying to fix. But I suppose we'll see. As they're moving to the inside of the road. Elliott Shute will not be happy with this. Right, yikes. The KFC Audi getting in the way of Elliott Shute. Once more moving to the inside of the road. Elliott Shute will be absolutely fuming about that. And as if he needed more lost time to Paul Lucchini and Elliott Shute. Sorry, Tim Brooks. As if he needed more lost time. That was not very gentlemanlike of that Audi of Dean Curry. Not gentlemanlike at all, actually. I could be wrong, actually. It could be one of the bronze class Audis. So, we'll see what that unfolds to be like. There was the number one Brad Schumacher crew down there. Taking a look at what happened. That's the door, possibly, that they've had to change. Yes, it is. So they've had to change the door down there. It was a smart play, to be honest. But it's unfortunate. So they've changed the door. I think the hinges... You'd only imagine If it's a door, you'd think either the hinges are broken or something else inside the door. I know some like GT3 cars and modern day cars are a little bit different, but I have a feeling possibly it might have been the hinges on the door that had just sort of come loose a little bit. Guy Valmont Mercedes, though, absolutely flying there. It's the Bronze Class leading car. Quite far ahead, so very good indeed. So, sorry, it was not Dean Curry that was holding up Alex Shute. It was Higgin. And it's given a 31-second gap back to second place in the Bronze Class. So, once more, race leader continues to lap the Bronze Class. Now, so there you go, 11 seconds. The margin, Nathan Halstead to Higgin. There. As once more, we take a look at Mark Rosser and Tagani, 5th and 6th. Mark Rosser and Tagani, two very experienced bronze drivers in their own right. So this is going to be a good old scrap for the next 12 minutes or so. So it does seem like Sergio Perez has booted down what is quite a dominant win here in Race 2 of GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. It's become to the end of the weekend, and what has been an absolutely epic weekend. F1 action has been awesome. GT World Challenge Australia, again, like always, they put on an amazing show. Supporting the Shannon Speed Series as they turn through once more. 11 and a quarter minutes to go left in this one. Of course, we will see how this run unfolds for all of the drivers. 11 and a half minutes to go. So now this race calms down once more. Very enthralling. Race number 1. Race number 2, a bit more calmed down in its own right here. The mind of Sergio Perez will just be focused at this point on trying to get this car to the end. I say that trying to get this car to the end will be the big hope for the crew down there. If they can, it will be an absolute miracle. It's thrown right up through towards turn number 6 now once more. The cars turn, and quite a well-controlled race, actually. Quite a well-controlled race. Trying to keep that control under control. 10 minutes now. The clock we'll have about 5 or 6, maybe even 7 more laps of racing. Turning through once more. The eager eyes of Sergio Perez getting this car to the end of the race will be the only thing that's in his mind at this point. Of course, we will see if that comes to fruition. There is the bronze class leader. Now turning through once more of Nathan Halstead. And turning through, my internet now decides to be overly special, which, to be honest, I don't expect anything worse. I don't expect anything else from my internet. I can't go one stream without having my internet play up on me. It's just unironic. It's just unironic. You know, can't go one stream. You really can't. Race number 3, of course, Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge. It's either going to be at about 5:30 or 7:30 tonight. Good way to actually end off the weekend, to be completely honest with you. Of course, their 40 to 45 minute race that will happen from 7:30 tonight. So we will see how that one plays out. 8.5 minutes to go. Sergio Perez just has to get this car home. So all he has to do is now on the brakes once more through towards turn number 6. The late into this race, the tyres start to fall off and a little bit. They start to degrade. It's a lot about tyre conserving, if I'm being completely honest with you. A lot about tyre conserving, trying to keep the tyres in the operative window. Of course, next weekend, the action. I've just as well forgot. Next weekend, we're off to the Bet-Easy Darwin Triple Crown. Supporting the Repco Supercars Championship. It will not be GT World Challenge Australia. It will be the Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge. So, I'd call that a super weekend, actually. It's going to be quite super indeed. But we'll see what happens there. We'll be streaming free practice, qualifying, and all 3 races. Be live right here on Travis Motorsports. And should be some very enthralling action indeed from Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge once more. And of course, GT World Challenge Australia, the Shannon Speed Series, returned to Darwin about 2 or 3 weeks after the Supercars Championship heads off. So the Shannon Speed Series heads there. Next, after Darwin though, it is the finale at Sydney Motorsport Park. What a finale it should be. And with 2 rounds to go, the championship is all on the line. There's a flash of the mirrors, or not the mirrors, flash of the lights from Tagani to the back of Rosser. Looking for an ever so threatening move. And the thought of having a Massal win around goes to 14. And as if that Aston Martin does not need any more bad luck. Now at turn 6. That Aston Martin did not need any more bad luck this weekend. It's back on circuit, and we'll say green here for GT World Challenge Australia. Not very often we get a full green flag race here, but that's exactly what we got today. I mean, anything can happen in the next 5 minutes of this race, but you never know. You never know. There's Elliott Schute's teammate down there for the 26 crew of Jackson Evans. Jackson Evans, very nice first stint, actually. Elliott Schute, same in himself, actually, to be completely honest with you. Elliott Schute's just taken advantage of the mistake, and actually, has Brooks gotten back by? Yes, he has. Brooks has gotten back by, I think, because I'm sure Schute was second. So Brooks has gotten back by here. Brooks has gotten by Elliott Schute, and back up at a second goes the 88 Audi. So very interesting indeed. Brooks with a bit of pace at the back end of this race has gone by. Very interesting. But this car led from lights out to the flag at the end. 4 minutes to go. Left in this race is exiting the final corner and once more starting another lap of this Queensland Raceway circuit. I reckon you'll get another 6 laps of this race completed before then once more completing the race. GT World Challenge Australia, what a weekend. What a few weekends, actually. Started off in Phillip Island, went to the Bend. Now we're here at Queensland Raceway. Then we have to Darwin and the Sydney Motorsport Park for the finale. Of course, the next round in just over a month's time. And the round after that will be 2 months after that. So quite a break. I do say so myself. Yeah, continues next weekend. A lot of action next weekend. FIFA World Cup, 2 games in 2 days. So super couple of days there. There's Brock Feeney. But yeah, super couple of days in terms of action. The FIFA World Cup, both games happening there. As Bud Schumacher on screen now. Yeah, 2 FIFA World Cup games. We've got the Freck Championship, the Italian F4 Championship, and Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge at the BDZ Darwin Triple Crown. So, an absolutely huge couple of weekends. And we're just under 3 1/4 minutes to go. I don't understand GT races that much. It's all good. But welcome in, Aaron. Apologies as well. My internet had a death moment in qualifying of Formula One, which is unfortunate. And I had to leave like 20 minutes after. Like I had to leave anyway. Like 20 minutes after that. So yeah, there was no point in me really booting the stream back up. Really. So apologies for that. I do apologise. Of course, I'll be live for the race tomorrow as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But 2 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. Sergio Perez leads out in front. And no, it's not the Formula One Sergio Perez that you're thinking of. It's just apparently the way they pronounce it. There. Apparently, it's just the way they pronounce it. So once more, hitting the braking zone, turn number 6. And out the other side. So that's turn 4 down there. Turn 3 even. So getting my corner numbers a little bit mixed up. 1.5 to go. We'll have about 3 laps of racing remaining for GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Here. But very, very nicely clean race. Led from lights out to the flag at the end. Did Sergio Perez, whatever way you'd like to pronounce it. 2.1 seconds though. Perez to Brooks in second. Then it's Elliott Shute that's sort of tried to apply pressure to the back of Brooks, but again, that Audi looking very strong in the first and late phase of this race. An off-camera move from Brooks, putting him up in a second. And it's the same as well. Unfortunate. Oh, there you go. So bad sportsmanship flag for car 56 there for moving under braking. So bad sportsmanship flag there for car 56. And that, of course, being the Tagani Motorsport car. Tagani on board that car as well. So the owner of the car, not exactly getting what you want. And with a bad sportsmanship flag. Not a good look, you would think. Definitely not a good look. And you'll get 2 laps after this, Sergio Perez. So all he has to do is keep it under control. If you watched my new video, actually, that came out about yesterday, this time yesterday, actually. If you watched my new video, commentator's curse on Hunter Robb in the Porsche race that I've streamed. Hopefully I don't get another one of those again, because that was absolutely shocking. I think that's the last lap board in the top left of my screen there. I think that is. So last lap of this race, now officially getting underway, I would imagine. It hasn't popped up on the graphic yet, but I think he's just crossed the line in time to get another lap out of this race. So we'll get this lap and another lap before, of course, this race does come to a close. But we look at this battle, Marc Rosser and Tagani in 5th and 6th. As I mentioned a few moments ago, the owner of the car, driving the car. They're the Guy Valmont team, getting themselves ready for what has been a very superbly executed, very nicely driven race. And will this be the checkered flag this time around? No, it will not. Last lap of the race for Sergio Perez. Now making his run up through towards turn number 1. The long right-hander before then once more braking towards turn number 2. And then on the exit, making their run up through towards turn number 3. The long back straight. One of 3 heavy braking zones in these GT3 cars. Heavy braking zone. Don't overuse the ABS. You can get to a point of load and lock the tyres and go straight off the road. We have seen it with Brock Feeney so far in this race. He went deep into the corner and bit off the road. But so far, so good. Turn 4. Double apex right-hander. Hit both apexes and apply the power again. GT World Challenge Australia, very competitive in its own right. All competitiveness must come to an end. Sergio Perez comes to the line and will win race 2 of GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Very smooth drive from the Mercedes crew, and they win by 1 second. Back to Tim Brooks, Elliott Shute, Paul Cini, Mark Rosser, Tigani, and Dean Curry. Rene Gracie in the 181 Ferrari, of course, had to serve the balance of performance effect, which is an extra time in the pit stop that these drivers get. And it's Adrian Dietz in position 9 as there to the outside looks of Rene Gracie. Complete opposite of yesterday. They finished P8 after yesterday's race winners there. And, of course, Adrian Dietz in the 93 Lamborghini car. And it's Nathan Halstead who will round out the bronze class as he makes his way around through towards turn number 6. Here they win the bronze class in very fine style. Very nicely done from Nathan Halstead. They cross the line and win in bronze. And it's the second place 24 Audi in the bronze class. 24 Audi, of course, being driven by Matthew Stupas. But very nicely done. Sergio Perez over Brooks. Shute your top 3. It's Mercedes, Audi, Ferrari. Mercedes again. Pauluccini, Mark Rosser in the Audi. James Tigani in 6th. The Kosh AMG. Then it is Dean Curry, Rene Gracie, Adrian Dietz, Nathan Halstead who wins the bronze class, Higgin, and the Valente Rossi of Reese, the Enya car, and the one driver car of the Valente Rossi Motorsport car. And it's Brad Schumacher, unfortunately, who had a door issue in the late phase of the race in his pit stop. Lost him a chunk of time. Had to come in, put tape on it, came in again, tried again to put tape on it, came in again after that, had to change the door, and lost 3 laps, unfortunately, for that squad or crew. But the Kaya Valmont team, what is there not to say about this crew? And they win another race. Win another race in GT World Challenge Australia. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. And that does not wrap up today's action either. We continue, of course, tonight from 7:35 actually. Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge to round out what has been a Super Saturday and Super Sunday of action. Then, of course, we're back for the main events of Monday. It is the Catalonia Grand Prix, Formula 1 Grand Prix. 66 laps to come. Then Tuesday, it's F2 to hit the track as well. So, very exciting indeed. So, well, that wraps up our coverage of GT World Challenge Australia. We return then once more in Darwin in just over a month's time. But stay with us for the rest of the next 3 days, actually. Formula 1 tomorrow. But up next, in a couple hours' time, it will be Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenges. The Guy Valmont team celebrate in quite orderly fashion there. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. But stay with us here if we've got Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge in a couple hours' time. And then we're back for Monday action. Formula 1, 66 laps of the Catalonian Grand Prix. It should be fun and very exciting. And then Tuesday, F2 feature race. It's going to be exciting. And then we're back next week. But until GT World Challenge Australia returns in Darwin in 3 weeks' time, it is bye-bye.